How do you strengthen a weak core? Well, it's not just down to the exercises that you choose, but more so how you do them. And that's what you're going to learn in this tutorial. Quickly before we start, please remember, subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon. Leave a comment or ask a question in the comment section below. And finally, click the link in the description and download my How to Build Core Strength and Stability ebook. To get us started in strengthening a weak core, first of all, we have to work out and understand what core strength is. Well, it's the ability of your core muscles, so your torso muscles, to hold a posture against a load. So we want to be maintaining an upright posture or an upright spine whilst an exercise is trying to deviate you from that. And the better your body is at doing that, so the more load that's trying to do it, the greater core strength that you have. There are also a few things that you need to know as a foundation to be able to do this. And that is a neutral spine, a torso brace, and breathing. So if we get started with number one, a neutral spine. This is where we have the three natural S curves of the spine. So it curves in at the lumbar spine, it curves out at the middle to upper part of the spine, and then in again through the neck. Those are our three natural curves that we need to take. This is known as a neutral spine. If you want to be more scientific, it's elastic equilibrium. And what this does is it spreads all of the load that the exercise is doing to your spine more evenly across the tissues of the torso. If you deviate your posture, all the load goes to one concentrated area and increases your risk of injury. The second one is the torso brace. Now, this is in part the abdominal brace, but that is just one part of it. So we need to brace the entire torso from the shoulders all the way down to the hips. What this does is it integrates your core muscles into one unit. This creates the whole that is greater than the sum of its parts. If you just train individual muscles, get the individual muscles strong, that doesn't necessarily correlate into a strong core, but it does correlate into a strong muscle. What we want is a strong core. How we do this is three different techniques. The abdominal brace, the shoulders go back and down, and we pack the neck. Finally, we need to breathe behind the shield. So when all that tension is going on, what most people want to do is hold their breath. What we need to be able to do is breathe. This not only allows us to do the exercise for longer, but it brings control to the exercise, which is a major factor in building your core strength and stability. Some exercises that we would use to be able to do this would be static exercises, and they would be planks, side planks, and Pallof presses. Now, we use static exercises because it's very easy to think about all those different techniques. So the abdominal brace is where we pull the tummy in tight, the shoulders go back and down, so literally it's as simple as that. The shoulders go back, which engage rhomboids and trapezius, and then we go down, so it engage the latissimus dorsi. We pack the neck. If I go side on, which is just tucking the chin back, which engages all of the deeper neck flexors, which allow the muscles further down the back to be able to activate more effectively. We start with these simple basic exercises because what we want to be able to do is focus on those main techniques. And if we start to add too much movement and have too much to think about too early, then we lose that focus. So we build that focus first and then we move on to the next stage. And what is that next stage? Well, it's then building in dynamic core exercises. So we've started in a static posture. We're focusing on those three key teaching points of the abdominal brace, shoulders back and down, and packing the neck. And then we can then start adding movement to that. And what are those exercises? So those dynamic, what I would call dynamic core exercises, well, they're chops. So chops, you might use a cable. So you pull the cable handle from a high position to a low position. Or you go from a low position to a high position in a reverse chop. It could be a deadlift, it could be a squat, and the list goes on and on and on. And with these exercises, what we need is good quality movement. And the foundation of that is that we need to move from the shoulders, so the ball and socket joints of the shoulders and the ball and socket joints of the hip. Those are our primary moving joints. For the very simple reason, they have big ranges of movement, so they're able to go through those movements, and they have the big powerful muscles around it. If we try to move from the spine and use those exercises, we increase our risk of injury to the spine and to the lower back. If you don't have good quality movement, what we need to do is we need to refine it first with light weights. So we build up that core strength with the static exercises. We may maintain that and keep doing that, and then at the same time, we start developing the quality of movement that we have. How do we know that we have good quality movement? Well, number one, our spine can hold its natural S-curve posture. Number two, we're moving from the ball and socket joints, which is the shoulders and the hips. They are our primary movers. You need to be able to feel the movement. What that means is as you are moving, you can think about what the different joints and what the different muscles are doing at any one time. And if you want the scientific term for that, this is good proprioception. So to recap, how we strengthen a weak core is number one, we need to understand a neutral spine, which is the three natural S-curves of the spine. Inward curve at the lumbar spine, outward curve at the thoracic to middle part of the spine, and then another inward curve through the neck. We need to be able to brace the torso because it creates a whole that is greater than the sum of its parts, and we do that with the abdominal brace, shoulders back and down, and packing the neck. And finally, part number three is breathing behind the shield. So we don't hold our breath whilst this tension is on. We are able to maintain proper breathing. We start with exercises like the plank, the side plank, and the Pallof press, because this helps us concentrate on those fundamental teaching cues. Once we've got better at the static exercises and we've built some strength using that, we then move on to dynamic core exercises. For this, we need good quality movement, and this means moving from the ball and socket joints of the shoulder and of the hip. And if we don't have that good quality movement, we need to learn that first. So we might do that alongside learning the static core exercises. That's my method for how you go about strengthening a weak core. I hope it's been helpful, and many thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next tutorial.